0.5%. And then Mombasa follows. Okay? So we need to keep learning about devolution, but that trivia was really just to get us warmed up in the room. So, to the agenda of the day. I think all of us have been part of devolution and have really seen the journey that counties have gone through since 2013 when we started devolution. The belief we had as a country when we devolved is the fact that we needed to change the way the country was governed, we needed to change the way the country's resources were distributed, and we needed to change the level of citizen engagement and interaction with government in deciding how different priorities then get funded and implemented. Before I pass this to my colleague Biagon, I want to just give a small anecdote of where we started and why these conversations remain really important. In 2013, when we were devolving, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics and the Society for International Development, together with many other partners, put together some very detailed reports that were looking at the issues of poverty and access to different basic services. And the data they put together was going down to the ward level. It's the most comprehensive data that we've had looking at the level of access to different services at a very low, to that very low level. The data then showed that there was a ward in Turkana called Katilia Ward in Loima constituency that had a poverty rate of 99%. You heard me right. It had a poverty rate of 99%. It means every 100 people you met in that ward, 99 of them were living below the poverty line. In the same country called Kenya, there's a ward called Lower Savannah in Nairobi, somewhere in Embakasi, where the poverty rate was 3.3%. 99%, 3.3%. And those were two wards where Kenyans were living in the same country. The conversation around devolution and how things needed to change, for me, was not depicted better rather by that picture. That we had a country that had very huge inequalities, and you can think of the level of services and access to services in those two wards. If you think about water access in Katilia wards and Lower Savannah, I'm sure you would find the same level of difference. If you think about access to healthcare, if you think about the proportion of children who have stunted growth, if you think about the level of the proportion of mothers that were delivering in a health facility, you can just imagine how different those two wards were. And even in cities like Nairobi, where you have Lower Savannah at 3.3%, there is a ward in Kibra called Lindi Ward, where the poverty rate was over 50%. This is within, you can literally take a matatu between the two wards. So as devolution progresses, we have to keep asking ourselves questions about, are we investing our resources differently to change the picture between those huge inequalities? Are we making decisions in ways that the people in those two wards are also participating and making sure that their needs are reflecting better in their budgets? The County Budget Transparency Survey is really one place for us to ask ourselves, are our budgets telling us, and publicly so, how we are investing our resources, how we are implementing those budgets? If you are thinking about program-based budgets, how we are setting targets for ourselves with those resources, so that it's very clear that we are actually addressing those challenges that we were seeing when we decided to devolve. So as we look at the transparency survey today, let's not think of it just as an index that measures how counties are doing with transparency. But let's think of that mother in Katilia Ward in Turkana, and think of that mother in Lindi Ward in Kibra, and ask ourselves, are we putting together information in those budgets, showing how we are investing our resources in a way that we can see we are improving the lives of Kenyans, because that's what devolution really was going for. So as we have the discussions today, I hope that all the counties will see the survey as an opportunity of thinking of how can we interact better with the citizens that we serve, how can we provide information that helps to improve that discussion, because at the end of the day, devolution will just be as successful as how well we are having that conversation. And budgets are really the best policy tool that governments have to be able to deal with inequalities. So I'll stop there and now invite the main man of the day, my colleague Kipkoril Biegon, to present the results of the County Budget Transparency Survey for 2022. Kip, karibu.
Good morning. Yes, my name is Kipkoril Biegon, and as John have said, I work with John at International Budget Partnership Kenya, and I lead the team that does the County Budget Transparency Survey. And I know also John have talked about its geography and also all what you have heard about big words and all that. And County Budget Transparency Survey was started, or it started in 2015. So we have been doing this for the last 8 years when we started. And it has gone also a lot through transitions, and it's for the good for our counties we want to see them like publishing the information and providing information to the citizens that requires that information for them to be able to connect the services and the kind of information that they provide. And so I will start with the methodology that we use in this survey, how we do it, and also who does the survey. Our survey, or County Budget Transparency Survey, follows a simple methodology that is seen on the screen. I hope it will be projected so that at least people can be able to see. So our methodology is simple. You will say it's simple, and when we say it's simple, we only evaluate what the law requires. So we know the Public Finance Management Act and its regulations 2015 and the Public Finance Management Act 2012 provides what counties should what the kind of information that counties should provide to the public in any money or in any funds that they raise and what they use to deliver the services to its citizens. And when you go through Public Management Act, you are able to find such information on what kind it provides. And the second one, maybe back, I think the slide has moved. So in the second one is that our survey also is collaborative. So when we developed the tools that we use in this survey, we developed the tools together with government, and also majorly it was also done by civil society organizations. And in informing that, we developed those tools in 2020, and we have used those tools in the last three surveys. So in 2020, we launched a survey. So in 2021, we did the same. And today we are launching the County Budget Transparency Survey 2022, which responds to the budget documents for financial year 2021-2022. And the third one is that our survey is open, fair, and verifiable. So when we also say it's open, so we have all the raw data that when we check the budget documents, so we have about 21 researchers who does that, and they are drawn from counties, and they are the one who checks this information, and they are the one who also interact with these budget documents on daily basis. The data is also available in our website. You will be able to confirm if what you publish or what you provide in those budget documents are the ones that we have captured. And we also share the findings to all the 47 counties. So when sharing the findings, we send the findings to the Office of the Governor, the CC, Finance, and we have also the Director of Budget and Planning. We also send to the assemblies, the clerk of the assemblies also receive the findings for our survey. And we give them time to respond, to confirm, and also we have also a discussion on how to improve budget transparency in their counties. Because we know how much counties receive in each financial year. For instance, we know, even development, how much the counties got in 2021, 2022, to support 193 billion, and they only utilized, or they spent about 50%, meaning 50% was not utilized at the end of the year. And we have seen issues on budget absorption, on how counties absorb budget. really the implementation, and those are the challenges that are existing in counties up to date. Increasing pending bills, and that kind of information is what it's required to be provided. And so I will also talk about the budget documents that we evaluate. So we have 10 key budget documents that counties are required to publish in each financial year. And our survey follows currently it follows two steps. So we have the availability component, which checks whether all those 10 budget documents which are provided there are publicly available, in the website of the county, either county assembly or county executive. And in each budget document, as I said earlier, that it should provide some information. For instance, we talk about comprehensiveness. We expect maybe county budget review and outlook paper to provide information on the performance of the budget, on how it performed in the previous year. Also, it provides the outlook part of the budget. We have an annual development plan. We also have information on revenue and also development priorities and all that. Capital projects should be able to provide such information. Also, information on capital projects, information on public participation should also be provided in such budget documents. And all the budget documents that are listed there. And we have also quarterly budget implementation reports from Q1 to Q4, which our counties are also required to publish. However, there have been challenges in how counties provide or how counties publish the implementation reports, which are also required to provide both financial information and non-financial information in those implementation reports. But most probably have been publishing the financial statements, leaving out the non-financial information, which is very important for public to be able to connect to the services that or to maybe if they are reporting the performance of the budget each quarter, so that at least when citizens are able to know the status of, for instance, the projects, they can be able to know in the implementation reports, and that has somehow been missing, and we'll see as we go by. And now allow me to just show you how counties have been performing, but I'll just start with the overall performance. So in the last 3 years, or in the last 3 surveys that we have conducted, in 2020, we had counties providing or publishing that 3 out of 100 points of the information, meaning that shows in 2020 about 60% of information were not available. And in 2021, there was an improvement of 2 points. But today, we are seeing an improvement of 6 points compared to the previous survey that we launched in 2021. So there have been improvement, which we are seeing that counties have continued to sustain progress in the level of information they provide to the public, which is a good indication that counties are improving. And so in the current survey that we are also launching today, 33 counties were able to improve as compared to the previous survey. So we recorded 33 counties improving and providing more and more information. However, on the other side, we had also 13 counties regressing or stopping, at least providing more information as compared to what they provide in the previous survey. And also in that 41 out of 100 points which we are today, it shows also that there is still a lot of information which is not publicly available. So we have about 59 out of 100 points which counties are still not making publicly available, which is also a challenge on how counties are able to access that information. And there are counties that have also been making this information almost all or publishing, but they just lack the comprehensiveness component side of it in providing comprehensively. But there are counties also which have not been providing enough information or even not making any steps to provide information. The lower paragraph is just to show us that there is no county that currently scored an A or that provide information more than 81 out of 100 points. So we have no county, and even in the last 3 surveys, we have never had any county providing more than 81 out of 100 points. So the leading county has been scoring B, and as you can see, it has been growing. So in the current survey, you have 19% of counties scoring 61 to 80 out of 100 points. You also have 41 to 60, which is county scoring C, also increasing. We have 6% of counties scoring C. And as you can see, the last two bars shows us which counties have scored D and E, are declining, which is a good indication that counties are improving. So, for example, in 2021 survey, which was for last year, there was 36% of counties scoring D, but today we have 28. That means declining, which is a good indication that counties are making efforts to sustain progress and improve in that. And also, the counties that score D, E are also declining. We have 17% of counties scoring E in the current survey. And we'll look at further. So these now the findings of the 2022 survey. And as you can see, I'll maybe give you a few seconds just to see how your county performed, or how performed especially for government. Also, as then we can be able to see how our counties are performing on the kind of information that they provide. We have West Pokot as the first, which I think we have to clap for West Pokot. So West Pokot has appeared or has been the best in 2 out of 3 surveys. So when you compare, in 2020, West Pokot was the first one. And in 2022, the current one, which we are launching today, is also the first one. Only in 2020, only last year, which is 2021, it was number 2. But it has appeared to be most transparent in the last three surveys. We also have Makueni, which is the second county, and it provides 75 out of 100 points, which just follows West Pokot. We also have Kwale County, publishing 74. So providing 74 out of 100 points. So those are the top 3 counties that provided information above 70 out of 100 points. And we have the fourth county is Kitui, which died with Nyeri. So they have the same score at 69 out of 100 points. And so some trends when you see the top counties. So in the last few surveys, they have also been somewhat transparent and providing most of the information. When you go to the top 10, except Kwale, which came from or mostly it improved. But when you also see counties that are in top 10, you can be able to see there is also Nairobi, there is Samburu, there is also Mandera, Nandi, and Lamu, which also scored 60 out of 100 points. And on the lower side, you can be able to see some counties that never showed an effort to be transparent. We have Wajir, and we have also Migori, and we have Kajiado and Isiolo. So they never publish any information, or when you go to their websites, there was no information. And for Migori and Isiolo, there has been a challenge. They have been mostly lacking the information on providing to the public. And we'll also see other counties. That's how it looks when you put in a map. The red are those ones which are least transparent, and the green are those ones which they did well. And maybe you can compare also with the previous map. When you go to our website, you are able to find previous surveys, and you can be able to see how they have been performing. You have the yellow, which saying that it provides information between 60 and between 40 and 20, and that's how it provides, or 21 and 40, which is D, and this one which I read, the one which is coded E. And still on the top 10 performers, when you compare the 2021 survey and the 2022, the main, so on the right are the 3 counties that improved, and they joined the top 10 counties. We have Makueni, Kwale, and Lamu, which in 2021 survey, they were not among the top 10, but today they are among the top 10. So last year, Nyeri was the best, or that performed well, providing 72 out of 100 points. But also when you see how counties have been able to improve, so Nyeri last year had 72 out of 100 points, and it was the top. But today we have West Pokot with 78 out of 100 points, which is higher than what the first county had in the previous survey. And the 10th county, which is Nairobi, provides 56 out of 100 points in 2021, but today it also provides 68, providing more information. But also when you see Lamu County, which is the 10th county, it also provide more than what Nairobi had provided in 2021. And also it's important to note, so Nairobi case also is somewhat interesting. So it published 7 out of 10 key documents, but it's among the top 10 counties. For West Pokot, Makueni, Nyeri, and Kitui, they had published all the 10 key budget documents, which I had shown in the previous slide. So they had all the 10, but they are not appearing as that top 5. For Kwale, it had 9, but it's appearing at the top 3, so it had missed 1. But it still had provided more comprehensive details in those budget documents. We also have other counties also that does well. We have also Kisii, which provide more information in its budget documents, just like Nairobi. And yes, when we also call the regional economic blocks. So we know regional economic blocks that counties have, especially with related or geographical, there are similarities in counties, and they have formed regional economic blocks that also was formed previously by Ministry of Devolution. And those regional economic blocks we currently classify into 8, and we have the first one as Jumuiya County Sapwani, which in Jumuiya County Sapwani there was an improvement by 29 points in the counties that are in that regional economic block. In those counties, there are 6 counties, and all the 6 counties recorded improvements. So we have Mombasa, Kilifi, Lamu, the 6 counties in the coast, like in the Jumuiya county. So they recorded improvements. That's why they improved from 23 out of 100 points in 2021 to 52 out of 100 points in the current survey, which is a positive improvement for the counties in that region. And also this might also have been as a result of also activists who made access to information and all that to ensure that to inform their government and counties to publish such information to provide to them. We also have southeastern Kenya, which comprises of counties in Kitui, Makueni, and Machakos. And I hope you have seen, they were among the top 10, Kitui and Makueni, which are in that region. And there was an improvement by 13 points in that regional economic block. However, with that, there were also some drops in 2 regional economic blocks. We have North Rift and Narok Kajiado. So there was a decline in the North Rift, there was a decline by 4 points. And for Narok Kajiado, there was a decline by 6 points. And the reason for North Rift was as a result of Elgeyo Marakwet, which was more transparent in the previous survey. Today, not being transparent as it was, and it stopped publishing. I think it's about 7 budget documents, so it stopped publishing 7 key budget documents, and it led to that decline. Even as other counties like West Pokot improving in the region, we have also Baringo, which also improved, but West Pokot, but Elgeyo Marakwet dropped, and it led to that decline of 4 points in the regional economic block. On comprehensiveness, what we evaluate on those key budget documents when they are made or that are made publicly available. So we have the information on priorities, which also counties are required to provide such information, and you can see that there have been some progress, though slow, on the information that counties provide on priorities. We also have expenditure information. You can see there have been a decline. The last, as even as budget documents increase that are made publicly available, the information on expenditure is declining, and that has declined from 70 out of 100 points in 2020 to 64 out of 100 points in 2022. Revenue information has remained somewhat stagnant, and also we know there have been a lot of challenges on that. And counties have been trying to raise revenue, but they have not been meeting their targets. And it's kind of information that public also should be able to be given to understand how much do counties raise from their own sources, all the breakdown, and also how much they receive from the equitable share, and also development partners grants or conditional grants. We also have information on fiscal responsibilities. That's all about fiscal discipline, how do counties provide also information, and that has been erratic, and 48 out of 100 points in 2020 and 58 out of 100 points in 2022. For non-financial information, which is also very important information that counties should also provide, and In this case, we require that information on targets and at program level and for each activity should be provided in such case. But it has been missing in most of the budget documents that counties provide, especially in annual development plans, approved program-based budgets, and quarterly budget implementation reports. And it's also interesting that in the 2022 survey, there was a decline in all the 3 key budget documents that we evaluated on non-financial information. As others were increasing, that one was dropping. The information on capital projects, there was an improvement from the 9 to 38 out of 100 points. And also in the budget documents that we evaluated, because we expect, or it's expected that counties provide or report information on capital projects on the budget documents. For instance, they should be able to provide the status of the projects, if it's new, the year of completion, how much it has been allocated, and all that information that should be provided on capital projects. There was an improvement, and in the budget documents that we evaluated, there was an improvement in that. The information on public participation has remained the least, and even in the last 3 surveys, that's been growing, but it's the least, or it's the weakest part. And what we expect, or what's expected here is just the information on feedback. How do counties provide feedback to the public? For instance, do they have a section on how it provides feedback after the public participation has been done? To say these are the priorities that came from public, and this is what we have taken. And that's what we usually evaluate. And as you can see, currently we have 10 out of 100 points on public participation being provided by counties. So we still have some gaps that also we'll try to highlight that. However, there are improvements. Implementation reports remain the least published. For example, Q1 implementation reports were published by 17 counties, meaning 30 counties never published Q1 implementation reports in the current survey. We have also Q2, Q3, the same, and in Q4, only 8 counties published the Q4 budget implementation reports. Others have been improving, but the implementation reports has remained the least. And also we expect counties to publish across the year. Publish Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, but only 8 counties were able to publish all the 4. And those who published all the 4, we have West Pokot, all the top counties. Some will publish all the four implementation reports. West Pokot, Nyeri, Kitui, and Makueni and other counties that did publish all the 4 quarterly implementation reports. We also have the challenges on counties stopping publishing the budget documents that they previously published in previous years. And in this survey, we found that 41 budget documents were stopped that were initially available in 2021 survey. Counties stopped publishing that. Even though there were improvement in publishing other budget documents, then counties still stopped publishing 41 budget documents, which also, if they could have published, that could have led to more improvements. And we have been urging counties to ensure that all the budget documents are publicly available at all time, even for previous financial years. And the next one is that most budget documents that were published provided limited disaggregated information, specifically on the performance of non-financial information. I also explained that it's missing in most of the budget documents, especially the implementation reports, where counties only publish the financial information, leaving out the non-financial side of the budget. And it's also a challenge. And so information on public participation, so which I had explained that it remains the least. As you can see, counties currently are publishing 10 out of 100 points on the overall score. But interestingly, all approved program-based budget that we found publicly available, there were 3 that were published by counties, none provided any information on public participation. But for county fiscal strategy papers, at least there was information which has also been increasing or improving in the last 3 surveys. Same case to annual development plans, that's also been increasing. But for approved program-based budgets, that one has been there have been no county that has published that information on approved program-based budget. And it has remained limited over years. And some of the positive things that we have also seen in the last, or through our work and county that also So in 2021, there was an engagement that we did in Mombasa, and for Lamu County, it's a special case where they have revamped their website or improved their website. So initially, their website was not, citizen could not find budget documents. As you can see on the site which is written before, it was mixed up the way it is, and budget documents were not easily accessible. They were all budget data documents you can find there, but currently you can be able to see their website is well arranged, and at least you can be able to see how they have arranged their website on the after. And we have CIDB. When you click that link, you are able to see arrangement of CIDBs, ADBs, or annual development plans, county budget review and outlook papers, all the way that right or that after that display. So that has been a positive gain on that. So it's not only Lamu County that have done that. There are also other counties. So we also have Nakuru County, which have improved their website, and many other counties that have tried to ensure that their website or have information that is accessible, or dedicated folders that citizens are able to find the information easily. And so this is what we thought probably we should be able to do, or it should be done, so for budget transparency to improve, or for transparency to improve in counties. And when we share the findings with counties, some usually provide feedback, and in the 2022 survey, there was also an improvement of 107 budget documents that counties had, but they are not published online. And there have been also challenges, especially on access to information officers or key point person who should be able to respond to access to information by citizens. But again, so we know that budget documents should be provided on time, or there are timelines that also Public Finance Management Act provides that this budget document should be provided in this time, by this time. So that has also been a challenge. And if there is a public access to information officer in a county, they should be able to ensure that those information are up online, on time, and also when citizens make access to information, they can be able to get feedback, because at least there will be a key point contact that they can be able to receive such information. And the second one was actually to improve public participation information, and how also citizens are able to know, to understand the priorities that they have been taken up, and the decisions that have been taken from their public participation forums. So we also suggest that counties should publish the public participation reports on their websites to accompany the budget documents that public participation is done. And it should be able to have the information on who was involved, the information on public participation inputs or from citizen inputs. And we have seen this done by the National Treasury. And especially when you see the budget policy statement, they usually have a section that provides some feedback on that. And also there's been a result of inputs from also citizens. And feedback also on decision should also be provided on such reports, or such public policy reports, which also it could improve the information on public participation. And finally, we also think that counties should publish the non-financial information, not only, especially on the implementation reports, not only the financial information which has been available, but they should be able to publish or provide the information on non-financial information which will directly be related to what financial information is responding to. And also we know that counties have or probably get information or guide from national government institutions. For instance, National Treasury and Controller of Budget usually have that guidance which counties should be able to get. And we also know that the public sector accounting standard boards also provide some templates that counties should be able to use in the implementation or in the financial side of reporting of the financial information. And that also should happen. Actually, through our work also, we have also learned that counties also do respect or do expect that they should get that guidance from National Treasury and Controller of Budget, which they are also the one responsible for exchequers and all that. Thank you, and we appreciate. So we appreciate UNICEF and for having supported our work and all that. And also we have Luminate and IPF and National Endowment Authority, National Endowment Democracy. Thank you so much. And, yeah.
Thank you very much, Kip. And I hope now you have a better picture about what I would call the state of budget transparency across the 47 counties. We have seen those that have done well. We've seen those who still need to pull up their socks, but also we've seen those who have improved. So again, across the room, if you want to speak to the governor of Kwale and ask how did you pull it off, that improvement was very big. Same with Makueni County. They are at number 2. West Pokot, how do they remain at the top? So I think that is a good place really to have it today. So really that's the main event for the day. But as I said, it will be really good, and I'm going to take very few minutes. For the guys who I'm calling next, I want you to take just 3 minutes. Just to hear from people who engage with county governments in their everyday work, people who work with communities, and this kind of information is necessary for them to be able to engage with their county governments. So what has that experience been? Because part of the improvement that you see here has come from dialogue between citizens and their governments. Lamu is a good example. Kwale is a good example. The guys from Mombasa, from West Pokot, from Baringo. This really has become a collaboration between citizens also and civil society groups and the county governments. Isabella Kidede from Taita Taveta will speak first. From the Jumuiya ya Pwani, counties of Pwani, and tell us whether the improvement we've seen is a coincidence or is really something that has come from a lot of work over the years. Isabella, karibu. You have 3 minutes. I'll stand right here.
Good morning, Your Excellency, the governors, distinguished guests, and all protocol observed. Karibuni, my name is Isabella Kidede, Budget Facilitator, Taita Taveta County, Budget Facilitator at the Coast Regional Hub. So we've seen the Jumuiya counties of Pwani with the region that has with the most improvements in the transparency survey. So what we did is we decided as a region we are going to make mass access to request calls. So with Taita, Kwale, will a budget facilitator from Kwale will say, we do not have this and this documents available online. And all the county facilitators from the 6 regions and budget champions will send emails to the county government and the finance people to basically share the information online. So, of course, some counties responded. Some counties were not very responsive, but basically that's what we did. We did phone calls to county officials. We did roundtable discussions with county officials, and also the use of social media and our local radio stations. Basically, when you ask for that information, you'll be asked, like, what do you want to do with that information? So what we do with that information, we do a lot of in-depth analysis as budget facilitators, and comparative analysis on allocation trends, historical allocations, and basically programs and projects, and how that influence service delivery and what does that means to the citizen. So we also ask that information prior to public participation meetings so that we can have meaningful and effective public participation. And also this helps us to do civic education. We break down the information to the people for them to be able to understand and for them to be able to consume it. Of course, we've had a share of challenges doing that. I mentioned non-responsiveness of some counties. And then, of course, Biegon has mentioned inconsistency in publishing the budget documents, and then timeliness of uploading those budget documents. Unfortunately or fortunately, the PFM, the documents have timelines. So they need to be uploaded in a certain, by a certain date, but then counties are not really adhering to the timelines. And then discrepancies of information between the documents uploaded. You'll get information maybe from the implementation report from the county having a different information from what the Office of the Controller of Budget has. And then, of course, we are labeled as the evil society by some of the county officials, and like, why do you want this information? You're from opposition, and stuff like that. So what can we do? As one is to, you've seen how Lamu have revamped their website. So we need to make our websites easy to navigate. One is what counties also need to do is to avail those budget documents willingly, without being pushed, without, tusionekane wabaya, and also availing those budget documents in a timely manner. And then what we need to do is have the right information in those budget documents. We've seen a decline in expenditure information and non-financial information and information on fiscal responsibilities. Another key call is to have counties have information centers and citizens have service centers at ward level. And most of it, as we are improving on publishing our budget documents. Counties also need to publicize what we have published so that the citizens know that, those documents are available online and how they can access them. Thank you. Do I go with the chocolate?
Thank you. So that's really just to give you the flavor of some of the efforts. And I think one of the things we've really seen with the cost is something important to mention. Jumuiya ya County za Pwani as a regional block, they were number last in the last survey. And so the improvement is not a mean feat. And I think the effort that we've seen, it's gotten to a point where some county officials have basically become facilitators of discussions with civil society organizations. And so what we've seen really has been an effort that has really paid off, and there's now more dialogue between the government and civil society organizations as well. Now Jack Agola from Busia. Where is Jack? There you go. So Jack is from Busia. We have the region from that side. So Jack will speak about issues of capacity building.
Thank you. So, distinguished guests, Your Excellency Governors, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Agola Jack from Busia County, and I will speak specifically on issues of capacity building using the budget knowledge that we received. In Busia County, we have a facility called Totokakile Dispensary. So this is a dispensary that was started by the county government during the flagship project that were rolled around 2015. So about 1.5 million was used towards construction of this dispensary. But then it was abandoned afterwards. So when CEDC went to this community, we had a capacity building session with the budget champions, and they were able to tell us that we have a facility in our locality that the government constructed, but since it was abandoned by the government, there is a community member who went and occupied the building and made it his own house. So the main house, the main reception for the facility, he set up his living room there. And then the area that was supposed to serve as emergency delivery room, that's where he set up his bedroom. Of course, it was serving the purpose, but not the intended purpose. So when we met these community members, realized that they have a voice and they can start following up with these kind of government programs, the community members started pushing and writing memorandums to the various government officials demanding that this facility be made into utilization. We did an analysis and noted that in the financial year 2015-16, there was an allocation of 2 million towards purchase of land for this dispensary. And then in 2018-2019, there was another extra allocation of 500,000 towards the same cause, which is purchase of land. But by the time we were there was no land that was purchased. The facility was constructed in individual land, and then it was also even condemned by the government. So through the Budget Champions' effort of asking government to tell them why there is a facility within them, but they have to travel more than 5 kilometers to get services, we saw a number of county government officials, including the Chief of Self-Health, the directors of preventive and promotive health, as well as the ward administrators visiting this facility. And right now, it's a work in progress that at least the community members are going to see light that this facility will work. What am I saying? Through this knowledge that we gain that of course we have been incorporated in this work that we've been doing, we've been able to make sure that community members realize their need to start engaging and even engaging harder on the issues that affect them on their daily lives. So budgets are there to communicate community needs. But again, when people who are at the end users of these documents do not get the opportunity to understand what exactly these documents are communicating to them, it becomes hard for them to participate in this whole process. So we've been having capacity building sessions where we try and ensure that the community members are at par with the level of information being provided, and they can be easily interpreted in a way that they can help their citizen in understanding this kind of knowledge. So through this survey, we've also noted that beyond even the normal analysis of how much is going towards each program, we are trying to even understand that okay, I'm sorry, my time is almost over. The amount that is being allocated at least is serving its purpose by making citizens realize that they have a purpose to play as well as a responsibility at the same time. So we are calling upon our counties to ensure that budget documents that are supposed to be in county websites are made available, so that this will make it even easier for us to be able to start following up with citizen groups. Also, just on the same breath as what my colleague shared, is that when this information is not made available, it becomes an avenue of misinformation to the society. So it's just trying to make our work easier as a government by making the documents available, as well as for CSOs to ensure that the available information is being used to educate the communities to understand better what the government is planning. Thank you.
Last year, during this same meeting, the UNICEF country representative then said that the best auditor of government budgets is an informed citizen. And I think what Jack just said is the best example of how that actually plays out. Now, the very last person who will speak before now I hand over the program to our country manager, Dr. Abraham Rugo, is Janet. Janet from Baringo, there you go. So Janet will speak to us on the experience of the work that she does in Baringo together with other civil society organizations. Karibu, Janet.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Janet Nandongoli from Baringo County. I am a budget champion and a woman budget champion for that matter. So in 2019, only 35% of people in Baringo County could access clean water. And with that information at hand, we have a success story of a water project in Kisanana Ward called Sertonje Water Project, that we would see the value of information and meaningful participation of Wananchi towards the service delivery of the people of that area getting water. In the first year of allocation, which was 2019-2020, they allocated 2 million shillings. And on the following year, the project had not yet been done. And on questioning and going through the reports, they realized that the money was very little for the project to kick off. So they allocated another 2 million shillings, which still was very little for drilling and equipping and supplying the water to the people of the area. So with partners coming in, the water project kicked off, and it went to equipping and even supply with water tanks and water pipes. For us to realize the importance of information on service delivery, right now the people of that area can brag that 500 households are being served by the water borehole, that is Sertonje water borehole, and then we have over 1,000 livestock that benefit from the same water project. And then we have 4 schools that are surrounding the area that are benefiting from the water project. So what are we saying? We are saying that the information that we get is very important towards service delivery. And then from all the reports that we get from the performance of own source revenue, the equitable share of revenue, the challenges that hamper the effective budget execution, the report provides appropriate recommendation. But the question to all of us therefore becomes, where is the place of service delivery on all these matters? It is a recommendation that counties should begin to publish non-financial reports. Those are very important. The project is allocated this amount of money in this particular financial year. This is how far the project is, and maybe the services that are benefiting the citizens and the wananchi of that particular area. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much, Janet. Again, it's really another example of how this information gets useful, especially when it's in the hands of people who are actually also trying to make sure that service delivery is happening as we expect and as we aimed for under devolution. Please allow me to recognize the presence of His Excellency, the Governor of West Pokot, Governor Simon Kachapin, karibu sana. So before you arrived, the people in this room decided that West Pokot was the most transparent county and you are given number 1. So West Pokot is performing very well and has been performing well over the years. So congratulations to you and to your team for the great work. So now I'd like to hand over the program to my country manager, Dr. Abraham Rugo. And as I do that, is really to recognize and appreciate the role that has been played by those people you've heard being called budget facilitators and budget champions. These really are civil society organizations that work and stay in the counties. They are not Nairobi people who parachute to the counties and out. These are really civil society organizations that are stationed in the counties. We've done a lot of very interesting work with them. Over the years, this has been a very central piece of the work that IBP, together with our partners at Uraya Trust. Caro is here. Caro, please stand. Please stand. The ideas of the budget facilitators and budget champions started morphing up around 2014. And Caro was in the room then. So please allow me to recognize all the budget champions and the budget facilitators here today. Please stand up. Right? So we have budget facilitators and budget champions that we have trained together with Uraya Trust from 36 counties. And many of them are in the room today, and we are hoping to finish with the remaining 11 counties in the coming year. So thank you very much, and please take your seats. And asanteni sana for your great work.
Good. Help me appreciate John Kinuthia for an amazing job. I say there are many blessings you can receive in life. One is to have a conducive family, and particularly a loving wife. And the second one is to have nice colleagues. Because those two categories of people can drive you mad. If they are not cooperative, you can literally become a philosopher when both houses are not at work. Because really, we spend 40, 50 hours with our colleagues, and then we spend the remaining time, it's unfortunate, with our families. So if both houses are on fire, and I have been blessed to have both, a good wife, and a very nice team. And I want to start with that. Kindly, all the colleagues from IBP Kenya, please stand up. I know some of you think we run a whole government department. We are just 11 of us. So those are the colleagues. Please help me appreciate them, because they do an amazing, you can have your seats. These guys do an amazing job. Anybody who has interacted with any of them, regardless of their designation, regardless of their years in work, they do an amazing job. And they keep me young. Because they are also fairly young. Our mean age is 29, just to tell you how young an organization. And I'm the oldest, so some of you are starting to calculate my age. Please don't go there. Good. It's such a joy for us to gather here again to launch the County Budget Transparency Survey. And we are glad that this is becoming not just a survey. When we started it, we wanted it to become more than a survey. We wanted it to become a tool first for government to be able to assess its progress. And some of you may be wondering, why are you putting so much spotlight on the county governments? Why are you not doing something on the national government? We run an open budget survey that focuses on the national government. Perhaps we don't shout as much about it, but we do a comprehensive work. It compares about 120 countries, and that looks at the national government. But we also decided to focus on the county governments, because for us, we believed that devolution, still do, that devolution is the game changer for this country moving forward. And that has not changed. I know it's been 10 years down the road, and some of us perhaps have had different experiences of this, but amazingly, this is still our conviction. So I first want to start by a great warm welcome to the 4 governors who are present here. We deeply appreciate you. All protocols observed. We try to keep this a bit more informal, Kenyan, and therefore we have acknowledged everybody else. But first, let me just take note that we not only have the 4 governors represented here, we also have the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. We have other counties that are represented, Nairobi, Kisii, Tana River, Nakuru, Kakamega, Baringo, Kitui, and Kajiado. Can we have the people representing those counties just stand up, because the governors had stood up earlier? If you're representing any of those counties that I've just mentioned, please just stand up wherever you are, and we acknowledge you. Let's appreciate them. Thank you so much. We also have our partners, development partners, who support this work in different ways. And we have quite a number of them here. We have UNICEF, led by Dr. Shaheen, and she will be speaking later on. We have JICA, the Japan International Cooperation Agency. We have GIZ, the Finnish Embassy, the British High Commission, and Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office, FCDO, are represented. If you are representing any of those categories, please just stand up wherever you are. We want to acknowledge you kindly. UNICEF colleagues, I know you are a number. Let's appreciate them. These colleagues work behind the scenes and do an amazing job. Lastly, I want to acknowledge our partners who did not stand as part of the budget facilitators. Different organizations. I see Sheila here. I see James. He will be saying something later. All our other partners representing every other different category that has not stood before. Please just stand up wherever you are. See, it's only 2 of you. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Dixon is also here. Let's appreciate him. Thank you so much. So with that is to tell you that what we are trying to do is a work that is Kenyan. And I started by saying that our desire is that the County Budget and Transparency Survey is beyond a survey.
It is not just a data collection process. It is of utility value to the counties for them to be able to assess, and remember what Kipkorir said earlier, that we assess against the law. So we do not try to create our own things. Everything that is assessed here is what we have committed to do. But more importantly, it's about improving for the greater goal of improving service delivery for the country. And then secondly, is also to say that for us, CBTS is also a mechanism and a way to strengthen capacity for research and rigorous analysis at the county level. How do we do this? This survey is undertaken by 20 individuals based in the different counties. Therefore, it's not something that we do at IBP and send. It is done by 20 of the budget facilitators that we've just talked about. And that is becoming a critical tool for strengthening capacity for research and rigorous analysis at that level. But finally, it is also a tool for advocacy by citizens. When you just take, even if you take one module on the county fiscal strategy paper, it has a number of questions that you can walk into your county government and ask, where is this information? Where is this kind of information? Because it is important for me. When we talk about non-financial information, it's very important because it is there that we are able to say, we have spent X amount of shillings, have we achieved Y amount of services? And if we haven't, why haven't we? Or what can we do to be able to improve? And therefore, our hope is that increasingly the County Budget Transparency Survey will become a tool that is usable, but also even for the people who support this work to be able to see which are the areas. Because for instance, right now, just a focus on non-financial information already indicates is a critical area that we want to go. A lot has been said, and therefore, and I would like us to have some time also for our guests to speak. I know some of them have indicated they will be leaving on time, slightly earlier, and therefore we want to move this slightly faster. And therefore I'm going to ask a couple of people, two critical partners, to say one or two words. One is going to be a civil society at the national level partner, and the other one is our very great partner at the Council of Governors. After that, I will request Dr. Shaheen to make remarks from the UNICEF and representing the development partners. As John indicated earlier, we are part of the Joint Devolution Program, and therefore that will be critical to hear remarks from her. And then after that, we'll hear remarks from the governors present, and then we will launch the report, and hopefully in another 45 minutes, we should be able to release us. And therefore, to get us going, allow me to invite, I almost say doctor. The doctor is silent. James Muraguri to come and make remarks. James Muraguri is the CEO of the Institute of Public Finance. Just to say, I'm giving you 2 minutes to say one or two things, and then we will take it up from there.
All protocols observed and as established. Good morning, everyone. As Dr. Rugo has said, my name is James Muraguri, and I work with the Institute of Public Finance. My presence here is just to mention that we are so privileged as national partners working on budget transparency, because budget transparency increases confidence in government workings. Budget transparency reduces mistrust, and budget transparency, by providing comprehensive information, assures us as citizens that our taxes are being used in the right way. The Institute of Public Finance, our work is to generate evidence and use that evidence for advocacy, and also provide technical support to both state and non-state actors. 10 years ago, when we started, when we founded the Institute of Public Finance, our work was in Kwale and Makueni counties. So I'm very proud, 10 years later, and Governor Achani, I don't know where Alex has gone, but Alex is, at some point, Alex almost threw you out of his office. He stopped picking my calls. So when he came in today in the morning, he told me, bado unafanya hii kazi. I told him, I'm very proud. See Kwale where Kwale is. Yeah? So we are very grateful that actually, courtesy of your leadership, Excellency Governors, we can say that budget transparency is moving to this level. I'm privileged to lead the open budget survey at the national level. So I analyze the national government budget comparing it across 120 countries. And the Open Budget Survey is the world's only comprehensive survey with regards to government budget transparency. And I know our UNICEF colleagues who we worked with closely over years can attest to that. So even as we launch this transparency survey, we continue to call out the county governments to look forward to the next level of scores where we are. We want to move West Pokot to 80, Kwale to 81, to 79, or just below where Governor Kachapin is. But we are so proud, and we've seen the coast region, the increase, the percentage change is exciting. It's a privileged moment, and I see Alex has come back. Alex, I've just told Governor Achani how you almost threw me out of your office. But we are so proud of what your leadership, Madam Governor, is what we are seeing. So thank you very much, and I won't take much time beyond that. But to emphasize that transparency, what we want, especially with county governors, is to reduce mistrust between the citizens and the and the governments. And budget transparency is one avenue for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We rarely shout too much, but IPF is a very successful child of this work. Alwa is representing the Council of Governors, so please come on stage and make your remarks.
Thank you, Abraham, for inviting me to speak. I will speak on behalf of the CEO of the Council of Governors, because the council members are here, and I'm sure you'll give them a chance to also acknowledge the report. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First, I want to confirm that you have the best from the council here. We have the chair of the Gender, Sports, Culture and Social Services Committee, who is also governor for West Pokot in the House. We have the chair of the Blue Economy Committee, who is also the governor for Lamu in the House. We have the chair of the Legal, Constitutional Affairs and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, who is also governor for Makueni in the House. And we have the vice chair of the Legal Committee, who is also governor of Kwale in the House. So the entire representation of the Council of Governors here is the leadership of the Council, not just any other member. So acknowledging that, we note and congratulate all the counties for the effort that they have put in to ensure that budget transparency is documented as has been laid out in the report today. And we also acknowledge the efforts that the counties continue to make improvements in budget transparency. Of course, what is before us now is an opportunity for peer review and learning, and we have two committees of the council that will pick up this. The ICT and Knowledge Management Committee will certainly pick up this to ensure that in addition to the survey that was also conducted by the council on the state of the county websites, we will now go deeper to analyze the information that is contained within those websites and be able to complement the work that has already been done. So this, you have provided us an agenda for two committees, the ICT and Knowledge Management Committee and the Finance Committee that deals with matters finance in the counties. In addition to this report, we are also considering two other things: how we can be able to revamp the internal audit function, because this is a systems thing. The internal audit function and the audit committees of county governments. And luckily enough, I'm having a technical committee of the finance committee this afternoon. So you have provided to me an agenda to discuss in the afternoon at 3 p.m. meeting that I have this afternoon. We are also in the process of consolidating all streams of data collected within the counties and domiciling them in one pot called a County Statistics Bureau. That is an initiative, luckily enough, which is also getting a lot of support from our colleagues from UNICEF, and we will work with you to help actualize the existence of county statistics bureaus in all the counties that we have. So this information is certainly very good information that helps us to further provide technical support to the county governments. In addition to what you have done, we are also looking at a framework of how we do further decentralization, because the units of service delivery must be further decentralized. How do we facilitate the sub-counties, the wards, the village units as units of further decentralization? How do we facilitate the urban governance, the municipalities, the cities, and the towns that the Excellency Governors have created to become agents of the county governments to deliver services to the people? Before I conclude, this time about 12 years ago, I was on a podium like this issuing a statement, citizen report cards, developed by NTA, the National Taxpayers Association, courtesy of civil society colleagues, Sheila Masinde and others. 2 weeks later, I got a letter to go and support the establishment of the devolved units in South Sudan. I thought the MPs had conspired to take me to South Sudan and finish me there. That is how tough it is, civil society engaging with government. You are not sure that you are on the right track, but please continue engaging. Continue engaging with the county governments. You are on the right track, and from the technical team of the council will provide additional support to ensure that your work is fruitful. Welcome to the Devolution Conference, which is in Eldoret, was in Gishu County, August 15th to 19th. We should be able to have a booth where some of this data is also being shared to further develop this process. I thank you and commit to be part and support this process. Asanteni sana.
Do it noted, 15th of August, we shall be there. The invite is to all of you, it's not to me. So please make sure you are there. Let us be there. Thank you so much, Kizito. I think I appreciate just the connection that this information, because it's what we have really been keen on, this information finds its place somewhere where it gets institutionalized and get domiciled. And I want to acknowledge a lot of the effort you notice that has happened, especially with the citizen budgets, has been an effort by the Council of Governors. They took it up and ran with it, and we have seen improvements in that. Allow me then now to invite Dr. Shaheen Nilofa, the UNICEF representative in Kenya, to come and make her remarks on behalf of the development partners supporting the Joint Devolution Program, and then we will pick it up from there. Welcome so much.
Thank you. Very good morning to all of you. Excellencies, Governors, Ms. Fatima from Kwale Kwanti, Excellency Governor Mr. Isa Tamame from Lamu, from West Pokot, Excellency Simon Kachapin, and Excellency from Makuneni, Governor Mr. Mutola, and also Deputy Governor Dr. Robert Honda from Kisii County, the COG Director of Counties, Mr. Kizito Mangahua, the CM Country Manager from the IBP team, Dr. Abraham Rigo, Mr. James Muraguri from the Institute of Public Finance, all the budget facilitators and the campaigners. What do you call them, as campaigners or the champions, the representatives of the civil society organizations present here from the development partners, the UN colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and all protocols observed. Pardon me if I have misspelled your name. And first of all, congratulations to all the top 10 winners, especially to the Governor, Mr. Simon Kachapin from West Pokot, from Makuneni, and all the top 10 winners. And it is indeed, I could see the energy on the table, but I could also see the vibes. So sometimes competition is good, and it's always good. So it is indeed a great pleasure and honor to be here for the launch of the third County Budget Transparency Survey 2022. In fact, a remarkable initiative taken by the International Budget Partnership since 2016, as I am told, across all the 47 counties. I've heard John, I've heard Kip Korir, Isabella, Jack, and Janet. In fact, are very compelling narratives of how change happens. I mean, the transparency, the budget transparency is a part of the story, but behind all of these figures are people, people on either side, and where the leadership matters. And so therefore it is important to acknowledge, and as some of you presented, that while transparency in budget is part A of the story, but it is also important to know how change happens. And so therefore the expenditures are equally important to understand what makes those change happens. So the survey represents a very significant milestone in the journey towards promoting transparency, accountability, and as you all said, good governance in country in Kenya. So they not only serve as a benchmark for Kenya, but also contribute to the global knowledge and best practices in budget transparency. As has been said, devolution is a very important means to improve service delivery of citizens. I mean, devolution in itself is meaningless without necessarily having an impact on ground. So therefore, transparency in public finances is the cornerstone of a healthy, decentralized democracy. It empowers citizens, promotes trust, as mentioned by Mr. James, and fosters inclusive and sustainable development. It is through transparency that we can ensure the efficient allocation of resources, effective quality service delivery at the doorstep, and proper management of the public finance. The Kenya County Budget Transparency Survey also serves as a vital tool to assess the progress we have made in the crucial aspect of governance. And good governance ensures political, social, and economic priorities are based on collective consensus in society that represents the voices of the poorest and the most vulnerable that are heard in decision-making over the allocations of development resources. We as UNICEF firmly believe in the framework of devolution, where counties play an important, significant role in delivering essential basic social services for its citizens and including children. And through our engagement on the county integrated development planning processes, we support national and county governments towards effective optimization of funds to reduce poverty and provide public services for the most vulnerable, especially the children and women. The latest Kenya Demographic and Health Survey 2022 underscored some of the positive indications that the quality of life in Kenya continues to improve since the introduction of decentralized devolution in the country. So just to mention a few, 89% of mothers are now delivering their babies with a skilled birth attendant, and this has almost doubled from 49% in 2009. And under 5 mortality has gone down to 41 deaths in every 1,000 births. This is still too high, but a vast improvement since 2009, when it was 74 in every 1,000. And stunting, the form of malnutrition that prevents child bodies and brains from developing fully, holding them back for life, has almost halved since 2009, dropping from 35% to 18% in 2022. There's still a long way to go, and we know that there are challenges ahead. But it's important to mention that how devolution and its associated leadership in the counties have helped through their teams to make the difference happen. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine that you are Kenyan long-distance runner Eliud Kipchoge. The road is long and the terrain is tough, and we can feel proud to have reached the halfway milestone of the destination, and that is of the realization of development goals. But we must focus on the finishing line, and for that we need greater resolve, collaboration, and leadership. There are still about 2.5 million children who are out of school in Kenya. More than half of the child population, which is 53%, are multidimensionally poor, which means that they lack access to basic social services. And Kenya has suffered recently the worst drought in 40 years. Even though the rains have come in some places, it's still a long road to recovery. Child wasting, the form of malnutrition, has increased from 4 to 5% in 2022. So as we launch the survey 2022, we embark on a path towards further enhancing the transparency of our county budget. The survey will shed light on the extent to which county governments in Kenya provide information on the budget to the public, how accessible the information is, and the level of citizen engagement in the budgetary processes. By analyzing and understanding these aspects, we can identify the gap area, as was already listed, and devise effective strategies to bridge any existing gaps for the benefits of its citizens, including children. Distinguished guests, UNICEF's priority is about maximizing results for children. Over the past few years, we have increasingly focused our efforts in Kenya on strengthening national systems, on public finance management systems that can respond to the needs of the poorest children and families at national and county level. So I understand, and has been confirmed by the directors of the Committee for the Council of Governors, that the survey must lead to a dialogue between citizens and the government leadership, both at the national and county level, and help rationalize adequate and effective resources for children, women, and poorest in the society. This partnership has proven that when ordinary people are empowered with the information skills and participation, opportunities to participate in the government budget processes has essentially led to an improved quality of life for children and other vulnerable groups. For example, less children affected by stunting and more women giving birth as a skilled birth attendants in facilities. To the county governments of Kenya and to the leadership, I extend my appreciation for their participation in this survey. Your commitment to openness and accountability demonstrates your dedication to serving the citizen of this country. These survey findings will help identify best practices that can be replicated across counties and provide insights into innovative approaches to budget transparency. 2 weeks ago, I met with the county budget champions in the Tana River during one of this joint Government of Kenya and UN mission on devolution. And it was great to see the open dialogue between the citizens and the county leadership, the governor being in that hall, on what works and the challenges faced by parties and opportunities to improve. This was unthinkable decades ago. But the survey, as Dr. Rugo mentioned, is not just about governments and institutions. It is not just a survey. It is about the people of Kenya, the citizens whose lives are impacted by the decisions made in budget allocations. It is therefore important to stay engaged, and in your involvement, feedback, and demand for transparency will be very much instrumental in holding county governments accountable and ensuring that the resources allocated are fair and equitable, So let us remember that transparency is not a one-time event or a fleeting trend. It is a continuous process that requires sustained efforts and commitment. And as was mentioned by one of the champions, that in Busia County, after the partnership built the capacity of the county champions, they analyzed the 2021 and 2022 budget and advocated for the allocation of personal and operational resources to a health facility. And we heard about the bed in the delivery room that has been constructed but was not operational. So the county government responded positively and deployed personal and operational resources and cost. As a result, the health facility became operational. So essentially, devolution works, and the work on the budget transparency also equally works. So to conclude, when the budgets are transparent, it becomes easier to track the allocation and the utilization of resources designated for child-focused initiative. Budget transparency leads to better targeting of scarce resources to the most essential sectors. For example, during the period of Kenya Budget Transparency Survey from 2019 to 2022, counties increased social sector budget from 38% to 43%, which is quite remarkable. So in conclusion, the County Budget Transparency Kenya Survey 2022 is not only a crucial tool for promoting transparency and accountability, but also holds great potential in improving child-related indicators in SDGs and in the African child rights. Let us harness the power of budget transparency to uplift the lives of children, foster their well-being, and ensure a brighter future for the generations to come. And as we are slowly transitioning from the socio-economic fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic and adjust to the recent and the future price shocks, the impact of the climate change, the work on budget transparency and effectiveness becomes more important than ever before. Ladies and gentlemen, there's much to deliberate on the findings of this County Budget Transparency Survey. We can congratulate many counties for their effective and transparent work, as well as identify opportunities for improvement. Already, the results shared by Kiproy has highlighted some of the gaps, and I would not be reading that out all over again. But distinguished guest, as we look forward to hearing what next on the County Budget Transparency Survey, I would like to express my gratitude to the Joint Devolution Program funded by the Government of Finland, Italy, and Sweden for supporting this work via UNICEF, UNDP, and UN Women. And I would also like to thank the National Endowment for Democracy for providing funding this year, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for providing funds under the Budget Credibility Initiative. And this is important from the perspective of a transparency. In conclusion, as I commend the International Budget Transparency Organization for the unwavering support in the Kenya County Budget Transparency Survey since 2016, let us seize this opportunity to build a future where transparency is a norm and citizens are empowered with knowledge and trust in the budgetary processes. Together, we can ensure a prosperous, inclusive, and accountable Kenya, and the children of this country deserve nothing less. And I've heard the director, COG, already had made some notes on the call to action and the commitment on the roadmap. Asante ni sana.
Deeply, deeply appreciate and putting all that in perspective. And I think when you get into conversations with all these different categories, then we realize that there's a lot we can achieve. There's a lot that we can achieve through dialogue. And therefore, thank you so much, Dr. Shaheen. I know you must run, but I still hope your time can be Kenyan a bit. And 10:30 stretches a few more minutes. As a practice, we normally give the governor of the county that emerges at the top to make remarks. But his job is double-edged. One is to make remarks, but also to moderate the session of inviting his colleague governors to make their remarks. I have no power to invite a governor to speak, so I will request His Excellency Simon Kachapin to come and first invite his colleagues to make their remarks, and then he will make his remarks. After that, we'll just launch the report, give the awards, and we continue having coffee and tea especially coffee. Welcome, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you very much, on our country manager, colleagues, governors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First, I want to apologize for coming late. Must have realized I came a bit late. I had been summoned in the morning to appear in the Senate, but again they postponed the meeting to 11. So I found them not being transparent and accountable. So I urge IPP to start a process on transparency on the same. Before I invite my fellow colleagues to come and make their presentation, or say something, our team from West Pokot, and we say West Pokot is a county of hidden treasures. On the extreme right, one Nicholas Watom, head of communication. The gentleman at the middle, CEC Roads, Joshua Ruto, and the lady here has been a champion on issues of budget transparency, Priscilla Jebet Mungo. In 2014, with another gentleman, they were the best on budget, and they were taken for 2 months course. Which country was that? Scotland. For 2 months because of budget. I think that is why we are number one. Then we have Chief of Staff there, Taino Rotino. So it is now my humble duty to recognize my colleagues. And as the saying says, ladies first. So I will call my colleague from Kwale, His Excellency Madam Achani, to come and speak to us, and I will follow that route until because there are 3 only.
Thank you, Governor. All governors present, distinguished guests, good morning. Thank you very much. I'm humbled to be part and parcel of this congregation today, and I'm happy that my county is among the best counties. And I must say, I should be number one. First female governor. So I may be number one in terms of gender. But anyway, I've listened keenly to the presentations, and I was listening to Jackie. She's touched me. She's talked about what we can upload. And I was like, okay, I have all the status of my project in mind. That means we have a duty to upload the status of our projects. And I know from the budget and implementation, things change in between. Because at the budget level, we may put an amount, but at implementation level, there's variation. We may spend less than what was budgeted, or we may need to variate and add more. So the public needs to be informed. So I guess IBP, we are ready as a county to partner with you, work closely with you. Don't be scared. He's talked about Alex. Let me just introduce my chief officer. When Alex Onduko is the county chief officer finance, and he's a good man. We've been through since 2013 to date. I'm also accompanied by the county secretary, Madam Sylvia Chidodo. The director budget is also present. We have county budget and an economic forum in the county. They are also represented here, headed by their chairman. I must say, as a county, we are focused. And I'm happy that we came from below, now we are number 3. I want to assure my brother Kachapin, the next year, Kwale will be number 1. That's a promise. And wherever ladies are there, things happen. I must assure you, next year, Kwale will be number 1. If you look at Kwale County, in terms of budgeting, we don't have ward funds, but each MCA knows their budget because of the budget process. Every member of the public is involved in budget process because we have budget process. Our budget process begins from village unit level. We have village administrators in the county. So budget process begins from village unit level to county level. It starts from the executive wing, then goes to county assembly wing. They also go back to the community to confirm whatever the public proposed is what the executive had captured. So our budget participation is very open. Maybe we are just missing on the issue of publishing most of the information. But I want to assure you, and because my team is here, I want to assure you, next year, inshallah, Kwale County will be number 1. Thank you very much. Let me call my colleague, Honorable Timami from Lamu County.
Good morning. Honorable colleague governors, UNICEF representative, our host led by Dr. Abraham, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First, I'm honored and privileged to join you this morning, and it has been a learning curve. I've heard what my colleague has said. I think we want to put all those number 1, 2, 3 on notice. You have seen Lamu County has improved. I will not disclose what we're going to do because we want to, I think number 1 is up for grabs. Governor Kachapin, be on the lookout. But also, let me say, I also came with my team because they are the ones who did the work, which have seen Lamu. We were in position 37 last time. We are now in position 10. And I have my CEC Finance and Budget, Honorable Mohammed Mbwana. Where are you? Okay. There. I also have my Chief Officer Budget. It's a lady, Salma. And Director Budgeting, Mr. Waweru. Where is Waweru? Oh, there he is. These are the people who did the work. But I think this is a very, very good program. And let me say, please hold us accountable because we asked for it. Hold us accountable. And if any officer is a stumbling block, please feel free to contact us directly because we want to be open and transparent. That is the Kenya we want, and that is the essence of devolution. So with those very many remarks, let me welcome Governor Kilonzo Jr. To make his statement.
Good morning. I was left here with chocolate. I'll make use of it. My colleague governors, members of civil society, IBP, it's a pleasure to be invited to this forum today. I've been a very close partner of IBP when I was in the Senate, fighting for resources, banging tables, and many things. But this attracted my attention. An independent think tank that delivers unquestionable evidence for public finance policy and action. I talk of blowing trumpets about unquestionable finance. 2, the gentleman who was here before us spoke about what he called trivia. But it's not trivia, ladies and gentlemen. That is the status of Kenya as is. It reminded me of the advocacy that I was doing at the Senate when we were discussing matters revenue share. So that information should go to the ears of Kenyans, that there are people in this country who are absolutely poor in Turkana. People should be told that there is an award bigger than 5 counties. That story should be told. I remember the revenue sharing formula that's told in the Senate for over 3 months. That is what we were talking about. The only way to have that person in Marsabit, that person in Turbi, feeling as if they belong to this country, is for us to start recognizing them in terms of budget. So I would like this story to continue. 3, I like the idea of telling our story. And IBP, I want to congratulate you for this. And there is a reason. As a big champion of devolution, the enemies of devolution have not gone to sleep. The enemies of devolution still exist. They are still around. And they are looking for a bad story. They are looking for something. And that famous phrase of call a dog a bad name and then kill it applies to devolution. When there's a small story, a small bad story about any county, it is amplified 10 times. So I'm asking that as I celebrate in behalf of the county government of Makueni and congratulate West Pokot, congratulate Lamu and Kwale, I have a fundamental question. Why is it that a certain county appears at 0? Because that is the story that is going to be told. That counties don't even, it's not that they didn't upload, they don't have those documents. So can we attempt in some form IBP and the champions, the ones that I have seen, why is that county, and through COG, can we ask the fundamental questions? Because these documents are, it's not a choice to have them. So it should also not be a choice to upload them. People should be able to see these documents, and therefore I'm one of the persons who would like this matter followed up, because nobody should appear at 0. Now, I should not take the credit for the work that was done. The team from Makueni, please stand up. I have 2 economists, starting with the gentleman wearing spectacles, that is Mr. Jeremiah, top economist. I have another economist who is the CEO for social planning, that is Benson Mutua. Director of budget, Anastasia Mwendo. He had her deputy, Karanja, on that side. And then our top person on finance and budget, Damaris Kavoi, is the person leading the team. So if you've seen Makueni jumping from oblivion to number 2, it means that somebody is doing their job, and is a tone at the top. And it starts with Damaris Kavoi. Could you please give her a hand? So allow me to say a few words. Dr. Abraham Rugo, and I'm happy to join, and other distinguished gentlemen, I'm happy to join you during this occasion on the launch of this Budget Transparency Survey. It's a milestone towards improving openness and transparency in the management of county public resources. Transparency began way back during creation when God said, "Let us make man in our image and after our likeness." There was participation on transparency on the intentions. The Constitution 2010, which we all pride ourselves, provides the tenets and foundations for transparency, accountability, public participation, and equity in not only sharing the resources, but sharing the development outcomes. Every citizen in Kenya has a right to participate in how their resources are mobilized, utilized, and enjoying in the development outcomes. In that regard, I am extremely proud of Kenyans in their robust discussion on the ongoing finance bill. That is what we need, a county where everybody's voice is heard about the things that pain them, because somebody must listen to Kenyans as they are voicing their concerns about our budgets and how we are planning on their behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, gone are the days when budgets remained a secret and only known to a few technocrats and government leaders. Citizens have a right to participate in the decision making, especially and particularly allocation of resources. This therefore means once a budget is approved, the citizens must have access to the budget and evaluate if it meets their needs. Very two important components in the transparency and openness of the budget are the timely sharing of information and accessibility. The information shared must reach the last citizen. And I underline those words. It must reach the last citizen, irrespective of where they are, in Turkana, Marsabit, or Mandera. This information shared must reach the last citizen in the spirit of sustainable development goals of leaving no one behind. The information must be comprehensive enough to empower the citizens, hold the government to account. After all, it is their government, and we lead on behalf of the citizens. Once again, I reiterate the commitment of Makueni County to enhance transparency and accountability in the management of public resources. We are guided by our clarion call desire to do good with integrity. And this is our commitment with the team. We will be more open, more accountable, and more transparent. In conclusion, let us find purpose in the words of Mother Teresa. Honesty and transparency make you vulnerable. Be honest and transparent anyway. Thank you very much. And to the Jumuiya la Pwani, we don't issue threats, but let me issue a threat on behalf of the Southeastern Bloc. The person behind you is not a Toyota, but is the Southeastern Kenya Economic Bloc. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother from Makueni. But you have forgotten to take the chocolate. So I'll do justice to this one after my remarks. Yeah, somebody reminded me that I didn't say what that lady does. She was head of budget, but now she was promoted to Chief Officer Finance because of the good work. I think she has been accompanied by the budget team. I don't know where they are. I think they are somewhere. Thank you very much, colleagues, governors. You have made my work to be easier. But I want also to tell you what you have offered to challenge will be an uphill task. Yeah. Thank you very much, country manager, all our partners led by UNICEF. Once more, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I have a small speech or something to share with you. Today, I stand before you to emphasize the importance of budget transparency in our region and share our commitment to fostering openness, accountability, and citizen participation in financial governance. As governors and my colleagues have alluded, it's our duty to ensure that public funds are managed responsibly and that the people we serve have access to comprehensive and timely information regarding budgetary decisions. As we gather here today for the launch of the Kenya County Budget Transparency Survey by our partners, the International Budget Partnership Kenya, we must recognize that budget transparency is a fundamental pillar of good governance. It entails providing clear, accessible, and accurate information about how public resources are allocated and utilized. By promoting budget transparency, we empower our citizens to actively participate in decision-making processes, hold their government accountable, and contribute to the overall development of our country. Transparency in budgeting builds trust between the government and the people. It allows citizens to see how their hard-earned tax contributions are being spent and ensures that public funds are used efficiently and effectively. When people have confidence in the government's financial management, it leads to increased public trust, which is vital for a prosperous and stable society. We recognize that achieving meaningful budget transparency requires a collective effort that demands the cooperation of government institutions, civil society organizations, and the active engagement of citizens themselves. As the governor of West Pokot County, I am committed to creating an environment that encourages transparency and accountability at all levels of governance as per the Public Finance Management Act of 2012. To fulfill this commitment, we are taking concrete steps to enhance public transparency in our county. We are actively working on improving the accessibility and comprehensibility of budget information. This includes publishing detailed budgets, financial reports, and expenditure statements in a timely manner on our county website. We are also leveraging technology to make budget data more readily available to the public through user-friendly platforms and tools. Furthermore, we are investing in capacity building and training programs for our county officials involved in budgetary processes. That is very important. By equipping our staff with the necessary skills and knowledge, we can ensure that budget information is prepared and communicated effectively, fostering greater understanding and transparency. In addition to these efforts, we are actively engaging with civil society organizations and community representatives. We believe that citizen participation is vital in shaping budget priorities and ensuring that they align with the needs and aspirations of our county. We are establishing platforms for dialogue, public consultations, and feedback mechanisms, encouraging citizens to contribute their perspectives and hold us accountable for our actions. However, achieving comprehensive budget transparency is an ongoing journey. We acknowledge that there may be challenges along the way, including complex financial systems, limited resources, and cultural barriers. When I say cultural barriers, sometimes in some of our communities, for example, they still look upon some sections of our society. Sometimes women, they may not participate, they think that is for men. So such cultural inhibitions is an obstacle. But let us not be deterred by these obstacles. Instead, let us view them as opportunities for growth and improvement. In closing, let me congratulate once more the best performing counties in this survey, especially my sister and my two brothers and the deputy governors who have, and the representatives from other counties who have joined us here. But I still challenge them that it will be difficult to catch up, number one, the county of Eden Treasures. Thank you for setting best practices that we can all emulate. Let me also reaffirm our unwavering commitment to budget transparency. And I want to congratulate IBP for this initiative that has brought us this far. Together we can create a culture of openness and accountability, where public resources are managed in the best interest of our citizens. By embracing transparency, engaging with our community, and harnessing the power of technology, we can build a country that thrives on trust, integrity, and inclusive development. Thank you, and let us embark on this journey of budget transparency. Thank you very much. Let me use 1 minute to say, why have I said West Pokot is a county of hidden treasures? Let me use this opportunity to market West Pokot. Because sometimes West Pokot is one of the counties that's least understood. Least understood. When you Google now, counties with the highest crime rates and counties with the least crime rates, first, there's that perception that West Pokot has one of the highest because of what is being published, what is being spoken, what is being aired. But Google today, West Pokot has one of the lowest crime rates in the country. Just Google today. I don't want to do that campaign, but you Google yourself, which is the county? You'll find West Pokot is one of the least, with very few crime rate cases. West Pokot, when you come to West Pokot, I want to welcome you. You'll find a county that you'll be amazed. Recently, some people came and say, is this West Pokot or we are still seeing another West Pokot? So what I want to say that, tembea Kenya. Tembea Makueni, tembea Lamu, tembea Kwale, and all the counties. You'll find a different story altogether. So for those many remarks, I think I've made very good campaign for my county. So I want to say thank you very much, Bwana County Chairman. Asanteni sana. I'll not forget to carry my...
So you've not only earned chocolate, but by marketing, you have taken the bill for this meeting. So we have been saved. So I think we know. I think, where is the CC? Chebet. Invoice inakuja kwako. So thank you so much. I want to invite us to come straight here and do the launch, because I think we would like to move this fast. So come, we do the launch, and then after that we will give an award, and I promise that we will be done in the next 10 minutes maximum. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Your Excellency Governors and our distinguished guests. So the report is now officially launched. And, a clap for that. So part of transparency is that everyone will get a copy of the report, and everyone will also get a copy of the full report. So the summary report you will get today will also include a section for you to get the full report. So we've now come to my favorite part of the meeting, which is usually then to recognize different counties for their performance. And Dr. Rugo and Dr. Shahina are already up on the stage, so they will hand out the certificates for us to recognize the performance by the top 3 counties. So we already know who those are. The most improved county, but also the counties that performed well in each of the 10 documents that KIPKORIL shared. Because there are good practices across all those documents, and it's important for us to know which counties are doing well in those areas. So let's start with the best. The county that was top in the County Budget Transparency Survey of 2022, West Pokot. West Pokot had a score of 78 out of a possible 100 points. So congratulations to West Pokot. And as we said, West Pokot was number 1 2 years ago. Last year, Nyeri dislodged them. Then Nyeri have suffered the consequences of trying to beat West Pokot. So congratulations to West Pokot. And it's important for me to recognize the level of commitment that we've seen from West Pokot. There's a gentleman there called Biagon who called me once and said, the governor has said, if every document is not found online in the survey, somebody is going to get fired. So the tone at the top, just as Governor Mutula said, is always very important. County number 2. Yes. County number 2, Makueni. And Governor, please feel free to come with your crew from Makueni. Makueni County has really improved this year, but also Makueni has been one of the counties where we've had really the commitment from the county government. So congratulations to Makueni for being number 2. There's some space on this side also. Congratulations to Makueni County. Congratulations to Makueni County. Thank you. And to top up the top 3, Governor Chani and the whole crew from Kwale County. Congratulations to Kwale County. And I will explain why the congratulations to Kwale County are even a bit more special this year. And the team from Kwale, please feel free to join the governor. There are even members from the County Budget and Economic Forum. So, asanteni sana and congratulations to Kwale County for being number 3 and joining the top 10. They were not in the top 10 last year. Thank you very much. Now, I'll ask Governor Chani to remain on the stage because the next award still goes to Kwale. So, Kwale County this year is the most improved county in the survey. Kwale County is the most improved county in the survey this year. And we saw them improve across all the categories of the survey. And that was also followed by communication with the county government that we want to do things the right way. And so the information that they provided was really, really comprehensive, and it's not a surprise they are right at the top and the most improved county as well. Congratulations, Kwale. Thank you very much, Kwale. So now we move to the individual documents, and I'll go through the list quickly. Yes. So for the part of the documents, I want to also invite Anna Gabriela. So Anna Gabriela is the Chief of Social Policy at UNICEF. And so this is the technical part of the document, so Anna is going to pick up from here. Now, we start with document number 1, County Budget Review and Outlook Paper. It's one of the key documents that we produce, right? Gives the outlook of the coming year and also looks at the review of the previous year. The counties, there was a tie here. The counties that had the best county budget review and outlook papers was Lamu, Governor Issa, and the chief officer is here as well. So Lamu had the best county budget review and outlook paper. Very comprehensive document. Last year, for those of you who were here, you remember that Lamu got a certificate, still for the same document. So Lamu has maintained that trend of making sure that that document, so now they can add to the other documents. And congratulations to Lamu for sustaining that performance. The county that tied with Lamu is Kitui County. Kitui, the Director of Budget, Karibuni. Kitui County has also been one of the best performing counties over there. They're always in the top 10. So it's not a surprise that also they have one of the best performing documents. The thing I like about these photos is that also the civil society partners are coming. If you should, right? You don't, after a governor, you can also take a photo. So congratulations to Kitui County. Then when it comes to the Finance Act, so this one had a very interesting tie because it has 3 counties in the tie. The first county that had the most comprehensive Finance Act was Kisii. Dr. Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii, is here, and Kisii had the most comprehensive Finance Act. Congratulations to Kisii. The second county that had a very comprehensive Finance Act is Kiambu County. Government official from Kiambu County? We don't have an official from Kiambu County? All right. Then we have Mombasa County. Mombasa County also had one of the most comprehensive Finance Act. Anyone from, do you have a government official from Mombasa? Okay, Rugo will make sure they get their awards. Then we have the quarterly budget implementation reports. I think as you looked in the survey, there was a lot of discussion on how can we improve the level of detail in those reports. And it has been an area, I think, of focus for all of us, especially with the challenges that counties have been facing with when you receive your resources, how quickly can you expend the resources when you get them. So reporting that is really an important part of the transparency conversation we are having today. This is one area that they had completely been monopolized by Baringo County. Baringo County had the best implementation reports through and through and through and through. This is the year that Baringo has been dislodged from that spot. Do you want to guess which county? Lamu, Kwale is actually Kwale County. What Kwale did during this survey, which we thought was very interesting, their implementation reports and information was put in a folder. So it had a document that just spoke to revenue and detailed everything, on performance, on expenditure, detailed everything. It was amazing to see that. So congratulations to Lamu for really presenting a lot of information on implementation. Kwale County. Sorry, not Lamu, Kwale County. Hey, ingebidi nifungue server, eh? So congratulations to Kwale County. Then on the county fiscal strategy paper, the most comprehensive of that document was presented by Nakuru County. Do you have a government official from Nakuru? Yes, please. So Nakuru County has also maintained, last year I think they were the ones with the most comprehensive CFSP, and this year they still have the most comprehensive CFSP. So congratulations to Nakuru County. Then the next, Rugo is saying home because he's from Nakuru. I am from Uasin Gishu, so I hope we'll turn up somewhere. The next document is the citizens' budget, which is really the simplified version of the detailed budget that is provided prepared by government. And the citizen budget really is the place where you help citizens to understand what priorities are the counties implementing in a very simplified way. The county with the best citizens budget was Tana River County. Do you have a government official from Tana River? There you go. So Tana River, congratulations for a very good citizens budget. Thank you. The CEC for finance from Tana River, congratulations, and also for the great work together with the civil society organizations in that county. Then the second last document is the approved program-based budgets. So this is the most detailed of the budgets that we prepare, and is the one that is currently under consideration in our county assemblies. And the county that had the most comprehensive program-based budget is actually Nairobi County. Karibu sana. Nairobi County is, I always poke holes at Nairobi County because they don't publish all the documents, but the ones they publish are very comprehensive. That's why they were in the top 10. So if Nairobi published all the documents, West Pokot, Makueni, and Kwale, you will be in danger of losing the top 3 spot. So congratulations to Nairobi County for the comprehensive document. Then the very last document is the annual development plan. And the annual development plan also was a tie between 2 counties. Deputy Governor Monda, Kisii was one of them. Kisii County had the most comprehensive annual development plan. And it was tied in that position together with Nairobi. So Nairobi, so that's what I was saying about Nairobi. They have very comprehensive documents, but they don't publish all of them. So Nairobi, you are getting another award for a very comprehensive annual development plan. So from the top 3 to the most improved to the ones with the best document, it's just over 10 counties. Oh, Nairobi County, yeah. So now Nairobi has grown, and I'm happy it's all ladies. So this is the time to ask for all of us in the room, how many of us, just one more. How many of us in the room have not heard the name of their county being mentioned on the stage in that hour? Just hands up. including me, my Uasin Gishu. Nataka kusema poleni sana, but there is next time. The reason why we made it very deliberate that we recognize and so that we can know those counties is so that when you're thinking about where can we learn about how a good citizen budget is done, where can we learn about how good implementation information is packaged, then you can know which counties to look at. So it's not just an exercise to recognize, but it's to know why is West Pokot number 1, why is Makueni number 2, why is Kwale number 3. So it's important to recognize that so that all of us can see where peer learning can really start from. Then the very last certificate is really to recognize the effort of one of the colleagues in the room in putting together this survey and making sure that it happens. This survey is one that takes about, from August, we are in May, almost 8 months, and involves very many partners, involves very many county governments and discussions with all the officials in those county governments. So it's a lot of work. So we really want also to appreciate hard work. It's really important for us to recognize the effort, the leadership in the work that goes into this. And the person who leads us in this is a gentleman called Kipkorir Biegon. And I will ask Governor Kachapin, being number 1, you can also join just a photo for Biegon. I assure you, he's not thin because of doing the work. But we are working hard to make sure that. So congratulations, Biegon, because the work that goes into the survey, thinking about the tools that are used, making sure the quality is good, making sure the conversation with counties is, open and transparent. And today, right now, in fact, what I'm doing next is to lead you to where you'll get all the information, including the Excel sheet that has the results for each of the questions for every county across all the 47 counties. Is the work led by this gentleman. So really to appreciate him for that effort. Now, I hope all of us have received a copy of this small booklet. Not yet? On that table we need some. So this is a summary for all of you to carry with you home. And it's important because it has the main highlights of what the survey has, from the results to the maps to the performance across different categories. So it's really just a simplified version of the detailed report. When you go to the back of the report, all of us, there are a couple coming. I want the governors also to have copies. So at the back of the little booklet that you have, there is a little QR code that is right at the top. So if you just take your phone and scan that QR code, it will take you to where the reports are. We have detailed reports that you will have access to. You'll have the results, as I've said, the very raw results of the survey. And if we can go to the next slide, Kip, in the presentation. So there are a number of documents that you'll have access to today that are related to this survey. So you have the main report, which when you scan the QR code, it will take you to the main report, which has all the detailed sets of information about the survey. You'll have county summaries for each of the 47 counties, so that each county can be able to see where did we do well, what are the areas we can improve in, and what has been our performance over time. So you'll find a summary for each of your counties. Secondly, we know that the survey looks at the budget holistically, but also we have realized that there is importance to also start looking at certain specific aspects of budgets. And so this year as well, as part of the package, you will get for this survey is there's a transparency survey that has been done specifically for the health sector within budgets. So how open are health budgets from their formulation to how they are spent? That's one. Secondly, I think all of us now are very familiar with supplementary budgets. So supplementary budgets have become a very integral part of what is happening at the national level and at the county level. And this time around, we also looked at the supplementary budgets that are produced by counties and also the level of transparency in terms of the information that is provided in those supplementary budgets as well. So it's quite a set of documents that have information across a different set of spectrum of transparency, but specifically looking at budgets. So to bring this to a close and make sure that this ends on the right note, I will invite the colleague from UNICEF, Dr. Robert Simiyu, to give the closing remarks, and also to appreciate the fact that we had a very huge crowd online as well. So for those of you who have been looking at that screen, you can see it's on Zoom. So we have a very considerable crowd on Zoom. It was around 145, 150 people who also are joining these meetings. So it's almost the similar number of the people in this room today who are joining from different parts of the country. And I just received a text of somebody also who is watching it from Norway. So it's gone international. So we are very grateful for that. So thanks to the people online, and now I pass it to Dr. Simiyu for the final remarks.
My role is really very small one. It's basically to appreciate everyone in the room, those online, and most importantly, just to give a chapeau to really what this means to all of us. I think I just want to start by recognizing the Kenyans who are the budget champions, who actually deliver and really represent citizens in this process. So all the budget champions, again, we ask you just to stand. Please, the budget champions, wherever you are, because really this is about citizens engaging their governments, and these are the people who actually deliver this work. Thank you very much for the work you are doing. Please continue doing what you are doing, because you represent every Kenyan, I included. And it is very nice to actually see that it's a mix of very young people, women and men. So thank you, continue doing that. The second group of people we really like to appreciate are the partners who work with IBP, and I will not mention UNICEF in this, but IPFs, Mraguru, you have been mentioned many times, plus many other civil society agencies. Uraia Trust has been mentioned. Carol, are you there? By the way, I was the founding chair of Uraia Trust, don't forget that. So you need to congratulate me. So thank you. The third category of groups that we would like to really appreciate are our development partners. And in this, I really want to specifically mention 3 governments, Sweden, Finland, and Italy. Georgina, I saw you somewhere. From Finland, I think I saw Georgina. Do we have anyone from Swedish Embassy? Italy? The reason I mention those 3 governments is you can imagine citizens seated somewhere in Europe, they pay taxes, and their governments are gracious enough to support the government of Kenya, provide money. That money is trusted with UN agencies. Then the UN agencies trust that money with IBP to do this work. So it's extremely important to appreciate those 3 governments. Even if they are not in the room, we say thank you very much. And then, of course, our sister agencies are the UN. We do have UN Women and UNDP who work very closely with UNICEF on this. I don't know if UN Women and UNDP colleagues are in the room. If they are not in the room, I'm pretty sure some of them are online. Thank you for working very closely with UNICEF on this. Then, of course, Excellency, the governors in the room, Excellency Governor Kachapin, you know, someone on my table said that he always thought that I'm the darkest man. And then he said, no, you have a competitor who wins. And then I'm very proud that we are not just winning in that color, but also winning in transparency. So thank you very much and continue doing that. Excellency, Governor, Madam of Kwale, you know we are very passionate about women leadership. And when you see women leaders, you know, always performing like this, and you know the leap from where you are to top 3 is a good indication of what women leadership is all about. I'm pretty sure that Governor Kachapin is actually threatened. I'm looking forward, Dr. Ugo, to the results of next year, and that's a challenge I give Excellency Governor of Kwale. Please be number 1. Excellency Governor Timami, you were here last year and we are proud to see you again. I remember as UNICEF, we engaged with IBP and your team, and we can see how your website is looking. So really responsiveness. Thank you very much. Of course, Mutula Jr., His Excellency, I think he has stepped out of the room, but that's a young person to watch in leadership. He's one of the most proactive people I've ever engaged in my life, very open-minded. And I'm pretty sure when he promises that we'll see improvement, we'll continue seeing improvement. My UNICEF colleagues, I know my Rep Shaheen has walked out, but as a person who interacts with Dr. Ugo and the team, there are people behind us who trust our decisions. And kindly allow me to recognize my senior, Anna Gabriela. She's actually the owner of the budget. For me to be able to convince UNICEF to transfer the money to IBP, she has to put a signature. We appreciate you, Anna Gabriela. She's from Mexico, and Mexico is one of the countries in the world who actually lead on social accountability, so we keep learning from her. And then finally, I have a team that I work with in UNICEF. Thank you, governors, for showing a very good example of recognizing the people you work with. We have our UNICEF colleagues in the team who are seated very quietly in the background. I would like to ask Patrick Chege to stand up. This young man here doesn't speak much. He fits the IBP portfolio of slim young people who work on budgets. Patrick drives this work in UNICEF. Thank you very much, Patrick. He engages Dr. Ugo and the team on a daily basis. He analyzes and looks at the numbers and provides all the reporting in the whole system. Thank you, Patrick. We appreciate your efforts. And then finally, Dr. Ugo and your team at IBP, you actually challenge us and make us proud. Please continue doing this work. And as UNICEF, we give you a promise that we'll continue walking this journey with yourself. I really want to request that maybe in the next, it may be nice to add county number 48. And that county number 48 could be the national government, where we actually bring their governor, who is His Excellency, the President, and compare how national government is performing budget transparency as compared to the 47. It may be a very interesting thing to consider. Yeah. So thank you very much, colleagues. We appreciate, including those who are online, and Excellency governors. Thank you for your time.
So thank you so much for your patience, for holding exactly 11:30. One of the things we also thrive at IBP is that we start on time and end on time. So if you look at your clock and it's 11:30, the program said we will finish at 11:30. But that's not the end. We know it's a Tuesday. But there's a public holiday which starts any time from now, isn't it? Well, at least at IBP it starts now. We cannot continue working and pretend we are working. We are tired. So we will go and rest after this. But I want to invite us for a cup of chai and get to know 2-3 other people that you have not met. I hope the governors will not be in too much in a rush, at least to say jumbo to 1 or 2 people. And to all of us, thank you very much for spending the morning with us. Let's continue with this work. At IBP, we believe in bajeti bora. Sio bora, bajeti. Aya, asanteni. Thank you so much.
Touch Peace and is one of the few subnational budget transparency surveys worldwide. IBP Kenya has conducted the survey since 2015, where we assess the public availability of key budget documents and the comprehensiveness of the information availed in those budget documents.
We go and look at the county website and see what budget documents have been published. If not published, then we do carry out an access to information request, ask counties to actually publish that information.
When devolution happened, you had a budget engagement space that was predominantly at the national level. So at the county level, we had these new governments that were doing their own budgets, that they had county assemblies that had powers to approve those budgets, but the civil society organizations were all at the national level.
Embedded capacity building is an integral part of our work, and we see it as a critical building block. Jointly with the Raya Trust, we run the most comprehensive and in-depth budget training program in Kenya, which in the last 5 years has successfully trained over 70 community leaders called budget facilitators spread over 36 counties. They have in turn trained over 800 community influencers called budget champions, all of whom comprise the movement of budget leaders that sustains budget advocacy at every stage of the budget process. The sustained budget advocacy is mainly through the budget cafe model at the ward level, county and national level, which brings together budget champions and community members at different times during the 4 stages of the budget cycle. This collaboration has contributed to a wide reach for CSOs who now work in budgets.
One narrative is that citizens will not be able to understand budgets, that it's too complicated for them, which has been proven. Citizens can engage in a budget process and citizens can make a difference in their lives.
IBP is coming in to sort of bridge a gap that people have not been engaging in these processes.
Budget cafes are spaces organized by citizens in different counties and have become useful spaces to learn about the budget as well as prioritize their needs before they engage with official government public forums with a unified voice. This has helped build platforms for widespread participation in budget discussions, bringing together various components of IBP work in the process.
We have these budget cafes, which are being used in Baringo and Busia where we are working, but also being replicated in other counties beyond where we actually are working by other budget practitioners. But also we are using it also at the national level.
Budget champions are community members who receive support to learn about the budget and play a critical role to mobilize their communities to engage with every critical decision of the budget cycle. Their enrollment from within community means they have strong social capital, which is key for sustained engagement with government processes, something that external players may not achieve.
There are 2 champions in every ward who are volunteers. Probably during the public participation they can get only some assistance like food, because we don't pay salary. They are volunteers. They are 60 in number, cutting across the 30 wards. Those are the people well pressed to mobilize the public together with the chiefs and the assistant chiefs. We work together with the national government.
What we have purpose as an institution is that we equip them with information in good time in terms of what is supposed to be done, when, who is involved, but then we also point them to where they can get budget documents.
We've learned a lot on matters concerning finance, on matters concerning development, because on finance, we have learned that each and every allocation of finance, it must be budgeted well, it must be evaluated, and must be followed, and ensure that the project has value to the community.
Jambo muhimu sana ambayo tungependa sana kufanya ni kuelimisha watu wetu wajue haki yao. Maana kila mmoja wetu akijua haki yake, lazima hii community tutaisongesha mbali.
Practitioners Learning and Reflection Seminar, PS, is a platform for reflection and learning for budget practitioners, broadly civil society organizations, CSOs, the media, and other stakeholders, including government officials. The forum has become a place to reflect and deliberate on emerging issues and challenges affecting their diverse initiatives around governance, explore areas of collaboration, and share lessons learned in engaging with public budgets. IBP Kenya facilitates the PS annually.
The journey that we've started with the IBP and going forward, I believe we still have a long way to go.
The budget champions now in their communities are engaging with those community members. We will have made a big move in capacity building.
problem that was there was bigger before the constitution, because we had very constricted space for citizens to engage in governance and development processes. But then in 2010 came in the new constitution, which opened up spaces in the name of county governments and also institutions within it. The constitution also made it very clear that citizens ought to participate in budget decision making.
The 2010 Constitution of Kenya introduced devolution, and this opened new avenues for citizens to participate in the budget making process, allowing them to have a bigger say in the prioritization of their needs. The Nubian community is one of the smallest ethnic groups living in the urban area of Eldama Ravine in a predominantly rural and marginalized Baringo County. Having budget champions within the community has ensured that they are able to mobilize and engage with every government budget decision. These are individuals, together with other budget champions in the county, who continuously engage to ensure the rights of the Nubian community are prioritized in the budget where they are a minority.
Nashukuru SEDJG na IBP walisema before muende kwa public participation lazima muwe na stakeholders meeting yenu ku identify which projects mungependa. 2019 tuliomba vitu vinne.
Moja ilikuwa ni maji, ambapo tulikuwa tunaenda mbali mtoni. Kama ni pale mfereji maji haikuwa inatoka, ilikuwa inabidi wa mama tunaenda hadi mtoni. Pili, pia barabara ilikuwa ni mbaya. Tatu, pia giza, hatukuwa na street lights.
Na vile vile shule hasa za chekechea, yani ECD, hazikuwa za kufurahisha.
Understanding the budget process requires civic education, and to this end, International Budget Partnership Kenya (IBP) has partnered with civil society organizations to support citizens in their efforts to get services from governments through the budget.
Our Budget Facilitators program has been one way of responding to this challenge. So far we've trained about 74 people spread across 36 counties.
Through kwa sababu SEDJG na IBP walikuwa na eneza civic education all over the county, tukagundua kuwa kuna kitu inaitwa public participation. Mostly kumbe kila kijiji ama kila ward huwa inaendaga kwa public participation wakipeleka matakwa zao.
Through a partnership dubbed SPARK, that is between the Center for Enhancing Democracy and Good Governance and IBP Kenya, 3 key objectives in support of civic education in the community were agreed upon.
So this intervention had 3 key objectives. Number 1, comprehensive understanding or comprehensive knowledge of the public finance management cycle. So the second objective was that we would want to see improved service delivery through adequate allocation and effective implementation of programs and projects in the water sector. The third objective was we have a budget process up to standard.
The budget champions have been able to apply what they have learned with confidence, demonstrating there is value in applying this model.
Kwa hiyo mafundisho ambayo SEDJG wametupatia ni kuanzia 2016 hadi sasa. Hiyo ni mafundisho tosha ambayo mimi kama mimi binafsi naweza nikaita wamama wenzangu ama wanakijiji nikawaelimisha kuhusiana na ugatuzi.
Kenya inani motivate ni venye ninaona kazi at least venye niko included, kuna venye naweza kusukuma, kuna venye naweza kutoa voice, kuna venye naweza kucomment.
There is value when people realize that certain things that often look complex were now within their reach in terms of engagement and understanding.
And now the budget champions model has become central to the capacity building efforts in Eldama Ravine.
For me, success in fact will be if they engage that third tier. If budget champions now in their communities are engaging with those community members, we will have made a big move in capacity building.
We want to highlight that the government has been very responsive in trying to hear our voice, that we want to reach where the citizen is.
Through the budget champions, prioritization and distribution of projects is now done in a timely manner, resulting in improved service delivery and implementation of projects.
The people of Baringo now understand budgets. They know their priorities. And therefore, if you know priorities and you understand how a budget is made, then you know what to do to get resources. There are champions in every sub-location. These are the people who drive the agenda.
And that there's no friction, so much friction between wananchi and the government, unlike the previous times whereby the meeting would become so hot until even you postpone to another day. Yeah. So nowadays you reach consensus very quickly because the champions are there. They come and you arrive at consensus very quickly, and you don't waste a lot of time. Distribution and prioritization of projects, we don't have much problems nowadays.
The feedback in terms of project implementation is very timely, and it has ensured we have value for money in terms of the projects that we are doing.
Kwa majina naitwa Sara Nafula Simiyu, niko na mume mmoja, niko na watoto, vijana watatu, kijana mmoja. Nafanya kazi ya ukulima, huwa ninapanda mboga. Nimepanda mboga kwa muda wa miaka 9. Tena mimi ni mfugaji wa kuku.
Article 43 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 guarantees every person the highest attainable standard of health, which includes the right to healthcare services, including reproductive health care. In addition, the Constitution introduced devolution in a bid to bring service delivery closer to the citizens while ensuring that they participate in the prioritization of their needs. Health became a heavily devolved function, living on policy matters at the national level. From the onset of devolution, many county governments have faced numerous challenges in the delivery of healthcare services to their citizens, and Busia County is not an exception. However, in Igula, accessible healthcare has been a pipe dream until very recently. The people of Igula had watched a stalled health facility in their neighborhood for years, while they still traveled for kilometers to get services.
We had almost 40 memorandums from entire cross-cutting from this down village ya kule chini Butunyi. Those memorandums that 40 memorandums mpaka tukatuma kwa office kupeleka kwa ofisi ya ward admin, ward ya MCA, mpaka they started calling each other. Initially, it was the government was not doing anything. Vile tuko na that push from the community. But now after these meetings, sensitizing community to understand their role, to know what's our those memorandums and those delegations have made the county government and the county government now to at least try to start acting, to start ensuring kwamba if we don't do anything, these people from Igula community will still come for us.
We were not very happy with the Department of Health, the way they were handling the department, because there were a lot of rollovers, stalled projects in the department, and even the way their system of the projects in terms of implementation was too slow.
despite many family obligations, Sarah still finds time to participate in issues affecting her well-being.
Kupitia kwa sisi, hizo memorandums ambazo tumeandika zikaenda kwa ward admin, zikatoka huko, zikaenda mpaka kwa chief officer Busia. Hiyo imetupatia morale, ndio sababu hiyo hospitali ikaweza kufunguliwa.
Before Igula Dispensary became operational, residents had to travel long distances to get medical services in the nearest health facility.
And the community are very responsive to that, and they are very appreciative for bringing to them the facility near to them, as most of them claim they were really using a lot of transport to go to Hunyangu, Burinda. Those ones from around, they can just march here anytime, and they are treated the way it is required. I always tell them we have challenges of drugs, but they say, sister, we shall understand, and I know we shall pick up. I tell them, I usually work with the community health volunteers, whom I tell them to go and mobilize in the community, and tell them actually Igula has opened. The mothers, the children should be brought here for the services that they require. When I give them the program, they go tell them, and most of them come here for the services.
Although the dispensary has greatly eased the burden of seeking medical services far off, there are gaps that require urgent action. In a country where maternal mortality is 362 deaths per 100,000 live births, lack of a maternity unit here brings to fore the need to prioritize construction of one.
Ningependa kama county government itusaidie tuwe na maternity wing. Venye hiyo hospitali ilikuwa haijafunguliwa, hakika wamama wengi walikuwa wanajifungua nyumbani. Lakini kwa saa hii kupitia katika mafunzo ambayo wanapata Igula Dispensary inawasaidia ili wajipatie muda wa kufika hospitalini mapema.
So financing for healthcare services is grossly inadequate, and that's really a challenge for us. If we wanted to conduct a delivery at Igula Dispensary, we don't have a maternity ready there. So again, we don't have space for deliveries, and deliveries are happening day in, day out. We don't have a staff house at Igula. So the health workers at Igula, the nurses, and the community health assistants probably commute from elsewhere. And you know that is affecting quality service delivery. They have to take care of the rains. Sometimes they are delayed by public transport. They risk border traveling. And that's really compromising services.
Even with the completion and operationalization of Igula Dispensary, going beyond just capital projects and allocating resources for operations and maintenance remains a major challenge in Busia County. This has affected allocation of resources towards equipment and running costs.
What we are offering is equitably provided throughout the county of Busia. However, due to one, the funding challenges, you find sometimes we are not able to reach out to everybody with the services they have. Funding is one of the causes of inequity in our area. And then we also look at the area of human resource. Human resource is a big challenge that we are not able to equitably distribute them to all the people. This has disadvantaged some areas where you find like some health centers have very few human resource providers. We also have issues of commodities, not forgetting infrastructure issues. We still have a challenge that we are not able to have all the facilities having the same equipment.
Through partnership between the International Budget Partnership, IBP, and Community Empowerment Development Center, CEDC, the Budget Champions have played an important role in ensuring that needs of the community members are addressed. The Budget Champions are members of the community who are trained to understand the budget-making process and to sensitize others on the need to participate in the process.
The partnership between IBP and CDC, imesaidia watu understand, kumbe nothing is going to be implemented without the implication of the budget. So as a budget champion, CDC trained us, it gave us information. We are trained on budget issues, budget stages, how to participate in budget making processes, and how to also monitor the implementation of the budgets. Issues were affecting Igula because of the information kuhusiana mambo ya budgets that I was giving these community members that helped them as an advocacy tool. Kujua this is the time you need to implement it because this already we tuliweka kwa bajeti and we are not seeing anything being done.
Wametusaidia sana kwa sababu hatukujua kwamba kuna mambo fulani inafaa tufuatilie, lakini kupitia hiyo imetusaidia na tumefuatilia na tumeona matunda.
Focus is now turning to the entire county with hope that more can be done to complete stalled projects across all the sub-counties.
The journey that we've started with, we started with the IPP, and going forward, I believe we still have a long way to go. Building, and again, we are looking forward to cover the entire county.
For Sarah, her role as a community volunteer and a change agent will inspire more women to participate in the development of their community, given the gains witnessed in Igula.
Kwa majina naitwa Sara Nafula Simiyu, niko na mume mmoja, niko na watoto, vijana watatu, kijana mmoja. Nafanya kazi ya ukulima, huwa ninapanda mboga. Nimepanda mboga kwa muda wa miaka 9. Tena mimi ni mfugaji wa kuku.
Article 43 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 guarantees every person the highest attainable standard of health, which includes the right to healthcare services, including reproductive health care. In addition, the Constitution introduced devolution in a bid to bring service delivery closer to the citizens while ensuring that they participate in the prioritization of their needs. Health became a heavily devolved function, living on policy matters at the national level. From the onset of devolution, many county governments have faced numerous challenges in the delivery of healthcare services to their citizens, and Busia County is not an exception. However, in Igula, accessible healthcare has been a pipe dream until very recently. The people of Igula had watched a stalled health facility in their neighborhood for years, while they still traveled for kilometers to get services.
We had almost 40 memorandums from entire cross-cutting from this down village ya kule chini Butunyi. Those memorandums that 40 memorandums mpaka tukatuma kwa office kupeleka kwa ofisi ya ward admin, ward ya MCA, mpaka they started calling each other. Initially, it was the government was not doing anything. Vile tuko na that push from the community. But now after these meetings, sensitizing community to understand their role, to know what's our those memorandums and those delegations have made the county government and the county government now to at least to start acting, to start ensuring kwamba if we don't do anything, these people from Igula community will still come for us.
We were not very happy with the Department of Health, the way they were handling the department, because there were a lot of rollovers, stalled projects in the department, and even the way their system of the projects in terms of implementation was too slow.
Despite many family obligations, Sarah still finds time to participate in issues affecting her well-being.
Kupitia kwa sisi, hizo memorandums ambazo tumeandika, zikaenda kwa ward admin, zikatoka huko zikaenda mpaka kwa chief officer Busia. Hiyo imetupatia